One of the most common questions I get when I teach actually love notes or any class on marriage and so on is from the young men and women particularly. They would say, when do you think I'm going to be ready for marriage? That's a very common question. They want to know when is it the best time for them to get married? How should they recognize themselves, when they're ready for marriage? For a guy, I keep saying you're ready for marriage when you say so. And it's a surprising answer for them. Why is that? Because many of these young brothers, they keep delaying their marriage. Why? Because they wanna feel ready for marriage. If you're gonna wait until you feel ready for marriage, it's gonna take for a long time for you to do so. It's not about feeling that you're ready for marriage. It's when you're practically and technically ready for marriage. What does that exactly mean? Usually, if you ask, a lady, what is she looking for in a husband, and her family, what they're looking for in a prospective, let's say, spouse for their daughter, they always have in their mind someone who has finished his education, he has a stable job, steady income, and he's, mashallah, has the best manners and akhlaq and so on, and eventually he's ready for marriage. Does it have to be 6 figures? No. Does it have to be a house that you own already? No. What about student loans and so on? Technical things, but you have to think of you being ready when you decide on becoming ready or when you make the decision. Why am I saying that you have to make that decision for yourself? Because most of the young men that I've seen, whenever you tell them, when you're ready, get married, they will take all their time to prepare themselves for marriage. Meaning they don't have a deadline, they don't have a limit for that. So they keep pushing it further and further, and they never accept any proposal that might come their way. But the best way for a man to do it is to walk backward on this. How is that? You need to put a date when you imagine yourself married. If you know that you have 2 years until you get married, you're going to do everything in your power to focus on this goal to achieve, inshallah ta'ala. But if you don't have that deadline, you will have all your time to prepare yourself for marriage until you feel that you're ready for marriage. And guarantee for you, you'll never feel ready enough for marriage. It's always going to have excuse to delay more and more and more because you're not yet ready for marriage. And in the process, you will not be doing anything that will help you getting ready or feeling ready for marriage. As for the ladies, when do you think that you're going to be ready for marriage? It's a little bit different because ladies, they always expect the guy to come and propose to them. And that's the normal thing usually, actually, because she wants to feel that she's being, kind of valued by someone and someone who cares for her and about her and who wants to come and propose to her and so on. I know that in our time, alhamdulillah, right now, mashallah, the brothers and sisters are all over the place right now. They go to school, they work together, so they have access to another sometimes, and sometimes they have direct proposals. But it's always, respectful to go back to the family and see what the family actually says about this and so on. So when should the lady prepare herself for marriage? I would always say, whenever a proposal comes to you, you need to consider that. I'm not saying to accept the proposal because some of these proposals not worth accepting. However, just consider it. What does that exactly mean? Because you might overlook some qualities in this individual. After having a conversation, maybe investigating, asking and so on, you realize this individual could be the best maybe option for you. Also, you need to worry about your personal circumstances. I mean, the situation is different these days, and I have to admit that the competition is actually so huge today. There are so many sisters out there, unfortunately, who kind of keep delaying their marriages for their own personal reasons. But in the process, they lose actually a lot of opportunities in marriage. And many of these guys will already be taken when they decide that they're ready for marriage. For the lady, I would say, my advice for you, whenever you feel that whenever an actual proposal comes your way, consider it. I'm not saying again to accept that, but just consider it, because it might be the best proposal, inshallah, that you might get with Allah Azza wa Jalla. You never know. Maybe you will see, inshallah, in this individual qualities you haven't let's say, thought about it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open your heart for that proposal. So when it comes to getting ready for marriage, it's actually a mental decision. It's a mental decision you make, and then you have practical steps that will help you, inshallah ta'ala, achieve these goals. May Allah make it easy for you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.